What's going on, you guys? My name is Woof and welcome to today's video. So in today's video, I'm going to tell you guys my least favorite thing about being a commuter student. So I've been commuting to college since I was a freshman for almost 3 years now, but my least favorite thing about being a commuter student would be the parking. So the parking is a whole new beast. The parking is a pain in the butt, and that's just the best way to put it. Parking is a pain in the butt. I do think it depends on the college because I did go to 2 different colleges, and the parking at one college compared to the other college was different because one college had bigger parking lots, the other had smaller parking lots. So it really just depends on what college you go to. All colleges have different kind of parking. The college I go to now have smaller parking lots. There's like one big parking lot, and then you have a bigger parking lot that's for everybody else that can't buy the 2 top parking permits, and then you have a 3rd parking permit, and the 4th parking permit's an overflow parking lot. I don't even know where that is, honestly. I just know where the top 3 parking lots are, but the first one is over 220. I can't remember the exact limits, between 250 and 220. The second one, I believe right now, is 198. And then the 3rd one is 85, and I believe the overflow is like 65, maybe 50. But parking is a big pain in the butt. And usually when a new building has to be made, it's in a parking lot. So the first college I went to, they had a parking lot across from where I parked usually. They tore it all up and they're putting a building there. So what that does is it just constrains parking even more than what it is now. And I don't go to that college anymore, so I don't know what parking is like, but when I went there, parking was awful. And of course, at the college I go to now, if you are there for a 9 o'clock class, 9:20, 9:30, you will not find parking. It'll be very, very hard for you to find parking because the 8 a.m. classes. The 8 a.m. classes are at 8 a.m. and usually the students have another course to go to, another class to go to at 9:30, so they're not going to move. They're going to keep their parking spots. So it makes it even harder. And the longer you go, the farther in the day you go. Once you hit noon, it's going to be even harder. But once you hit maybe around 3 or 5 o'clock, it does get a little easier because people start to go home. But it is much harder to find parking depending on what time of the day it is. That's definitely the worst thing about being a commuter student, is just trying to find parking. They do have lots all over campus and then outside of campus, but it depends how far you want to walk. If you want to walk a mile or 2, they do have parking lots off of campus. But if you want to walk closer to campus, if you want to be parked where you don't have to walk a mile or 2 in the rain and the cold or when it's scorching outside, then there's some on campus, but they get taken at about 8 a.m. or maybe even earlier. When I was going to school, I would get there at about 7:20, 7:10. I would leave at 6:20, and the parking would start getting taken as soon as I got there. If I got there at 7:30, it would get harder to find parking. And when I got there about 7:20, it would be a lot easier to find parking. All the parking wouldn't be taken, but the closer it is, the most likely it's going to be taken, the most likely there will be no spots. But that's definitely the worst thing about being a commuter in college, is the parking. The parking can be a big pain in the butt. It can be just really make you want to pull your hair out, especially if it's raining. No one wants to walk miles in the rain through traffic because sometimes you have to cross the road. So parking just really can be a huge pain in the rear, and if you're not careful, then you can miss where you want to park at, and you can end up having to walk much farther than what you want to. For me, I try to get there early. I am happy getting there at about 7:20, 7:10, because at least then I can find parking, and then I can walk around campus or go sit in one of the buildings and do homework or study, or just go sit in my class, because sometimes the class doors are open by that time and sometimes they aren't, so sitting there and waiting is pretty normal. But then when you have the first day is always the worst for parking. So it's best just to leave early because the first days are awful. The first days are atrocious when it comes to parking and when it comes to traffic. But that is definitely the worst thing about being a commuter student, is just the parking. The parking can just be awful sometimes, but just if you leave it a good time, then it's usually works out for the best. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and as usual, you guys, I'll see you guys next time in the next video. So see you guys later.